Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I'm going to talk about the slope of the straight line. We studied before how to find the slope of the straight line. If we need to find the slope of the straight line AB, where the coordinates of the point A, x1 and y1, and the coordinates of the point B, x2 and y2. This straight line, we need to find the slope of this straight line. What should I do? We have an important rule. All you have to do is find the difference between y coordinates or or the second projection over the difference between the first projection or x coordinates, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Or we can say y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. Example, suppose we need to find the slope of the straight line which passing through the 2 points A and B. A, its coordinates 2 and 2, and B, its coordinates -2 and 0. According to the rule y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and the second projection here is 2 and here is 0, y minus y, 2 minus 0. And this first projection 2 here and the first projection here is -2. So x minus x, 2 minus -2. So the slope equals 2 minus 0 over 2 minus -2. And 2 minus 0 equals 2. 2 minus negative, we can convert it into plus. 2 plus 2 equals 4. And 2 over 4 can be written in the simplest form, 1 over 2. And this is the slope of the straight line which passing through the 2 points A and B. Remarks. If we have straight line parallel to x-axis, that means the slope of this straight line is going to be 0. Again, if we have straight line parallel to x-axis, its slope is going to be 0. But if the straight line parallel to y-axis, the slope of this straight line is going to be undefined. And if the straight line makes an acute angle with the positive direction of x-axis, that means the slope of this straight line is going to be positive or more than 0. If the straight line makes an acute angle with the positive direction of x-axis, this straight line or the slope of this straight line is going to be positive or more than 0. But if the straight line makes an obtuse angle here, obtuse angle with the positive direction of x-axis, the straight line or the slope of this straight line is going to be negative or less than 0. Example, if AB straight line is parallel to y-axis, where A, its coordinates x and 7, and B, its coordinates 3 and 5. And we need to find the value of x. What should I do? As we said before, if the straight line parallel to y-axis, that means the slope of the straight line is going to be undefined. Undefined means the denominator of the result is 0. We know that if we need to find the slope of the straight line, we need to find the difference between y coordinates over the difference between x coordinates. That means 7 minus 5 over x minus 3. And this is the slope. 7 minus 5 over x minus 3 equals what? Equals 1 over 0. Why we put 0 here? Because the slope is undefined. AB parallel to y-axis. That means the slope of the straight line is undefined, so the denominator is 0. Here we can say that x minus 3 is going to be 0. 7 minus 5 equals 1. But here, x minus 3 equivalent to 0 equals 0. So we have here equation of first degree in one variable. We can move -3 to the other side with different sign. Then x is going to be positive 3. And this is the value of x. Remark. The x-coordinate of all points on the straight line that parallel to y-axis are equal. Example, if the straight line AB is parallel to x-axis, where A, its coordinates 5 and -4, and B, -2, and y minus 1. And we need to find the value of y. As we said before, if the straight line parallel to x-axis, that means the slope of this straight line is going to be 0. Let's put the slope of the straight line AB, the difference between y-axis and the difference over the difference between x-axis. Y minus 1 minus -4, or we can say -4 minus y minus 1. Let's start from the unknown, y minus 1. Y minus 1 minus -4, and then over -2 minus 5. Y minus 1 minus negative, we can convert it into plus. 4 over -2 minus 5, -2 minus 5. Equals 0 because the straight line parallel to x-axis, that means its slope is 0. That means this slope is gonna be 0. Y minus 1 plus 4, -1, +4, they have different signs, so we need to subtract them and put the sign of the greatest. It's gonna be y plus 3 over -2 minus 5 equals -7. We can multiply or make cross multiplication. -7 times 0 equals 0. Now we have an equation of first degree in one variable. We can move +3 to the other side with different sign. So y is going to be -3. This is mistake. It must be y. Y equals -3. Remark, if y coordinates of all points on the straight line parallel to x-axis are equal, the y coordinates of all points on the straight line which parallel to x-axis are equal. The slope of straight line given its angle with the positive direction of x-axis. How can I find the slope of the straight line which the straight line makes an acute angle with the positive direction of x-axis? What should I do? All you have to do is find the tangent of this angle. The slope of AB makes an angle or an acute angle with the positive direction of x-axis. To find the slope of this, we can find the tangent of this angle. And we know that the tangent of the acute angle in the right angle triangle, it's gonna be the ratio between the opposite side of this angle and the adjacent side of this angle. So it's gonna be BC over AC, or tangent of the angle. Find the slope of the straight line which makes an angle of measure 45 with the positive direction of x-axis. As we said before, to find the slope of the straight line which makes an acute angle or any angle with the positive direction of x-axis, we need to find the tangent of this angle. That means m equals tan theta. Theta means the angle or the given angle. So it's going to be tan 45, and we know that tangent of the 45 equals 1. Tan of 45 equals 1. Another example. Find the measure of the positive angle which the straight line L makes with the positive direction of x-axis if the straight line L passing through the 2 points for a -1 and 5 and -3. If we need to find the slope of this straight line, we need to find the difference of y-axis over the difference of x-axis. -3 minus -1, or we can convert it into +1, and now numerator over 5 minus 4 in the denominator. And it's gonna be -2 over 1, and we can write it -2 because -2 over 1 equals -2. And also we know that the tangent of the angle which the straight line makes it with the positive direction of x-axis, also the slope of the straight line. The slope of the straight line equal the tangent of the angle whose in which the straight line makes with the positive direction of x-axis. That means -2 equals equivalent to the tangent of the angle which the straight line makes with the positive direction of x-axis. That means tan theta equals -2. And to find this angle, we can write in the calculator, we can press shift tan -2. It's gonna be -63 and 26 minutes. So the angle which the straight line makes with the positive direction of x-axis is -63 and 26 minutes. We can find the equivalent angle to this angle. This is a negative angle. We can find its positive measure if we add 180. It's gonna be 116 and 34 minutes. The relation between the two slopes of two straight lines. If we have two straight lines, straight line 1, L1 and L2, L1 makes theta 1, or the angle which, or the acute angle which the straight line makes with the positive direction of x-axis, and theta 2 is the angle which the straight line 2 makes with the positive direction of x-axis. And the two straight lines are parallel. That means theta 1 equal theta 2 because they are corresponding angles. We can say that the tangent of the first angle equal the tangent of the second angle. Since the first angle equal the second angle, that means therefore the tangent of the first angle equal the tangent of the second angle. And we know that the tangent of the angle equal the slope of the straight line which makes the theta 1, or the angle or the acute angle with the positive direction of x-axis. So tan theta 1 equals the slope 1, and tan theta 2 equal the slope 2, m2. From here we can say the difference between the two slopes equals 0 because they are equal. m1 equals m2, that means the difference between them equals 0. Example, prove that the straight line which passes through the 2 points 2, 3, and -1 and 6 is parallel to the straight line which makes the angle or the positive, or the angle which makes with the positive direction of x-axis, positive angle 135. All you have to do is prove that the slope of the straight line is equivalent to the tangent of this angle. If we need to find the slope of the straight line which passing through the 2 points 2, 3, and -1 and 6, we can write the rule of the slope. We know that the slope equals the difference between y coordinate over the difference between x coordinates. That means 3 minus 6 over 2 minus -1, or we can start from 6 minus 3 over -1 over minus 2. 6 minus 3 over -1 minus 2. 6 minus 3 equals 3 over -3, -1 minus 2 equals -3. 3 over -3 equals -1. And this is the slope of the straight line which passes through the 2 points 2, 3, and -1 and 6. If we find the slope of the straight line which makes the angle 135 with the positive direction of x-axis, we need to find the tangent of this angle. So M2 or slope 2 equals tangent of 35. And if we press tan 135 in the calculator, it's going to be -1. From here, we can deduce that the first slope is -1 and also the second slope equals -1. So the two slopes are the same or equal. M1 equals M2 equals -1. From here, we can deduce that the first slope equals the second slope. Therefore, we can deduce that the first straight line parallel to the second straight line. So again, if we need to prove that the straight line 1 parallel to straight line 2, we need to prove that the slope of the first straight line equals the slope of the second straight line. Another example, prove that the point A -1 and 4 and point B -2 and 2 and point C -3 and 0 are collinear. What is the meaning of collinear? Collinear means the 3 points we have straight line passing through the 3 points or the 3 points located on the same straight line. We need to prove that the 3 points on the same straight line. What should I do? If we need to prove that the 3 points on the same straight line, we need to prove that the slope of AB equals the slope of ABC. Slope 1 equals slope 2. Because if we prove that the slope of AB equals the slope of BC, that means the 3 points on the same straight line. Let's find the slope of the straight line which passing through the points A and B. The coordinates of the point A -1 and 4 and the coordinates of the point B -2 and 2. So we need to find the difference between y coordinate over the difference between x coordinate. 4 minus 2 over 1 minus 2. -1 minus 2. Minus what? Minus -2. This is x and this is x coordinate. Again, 4 minus 2 and -1 minus -2. Minus negative, we can convert it into plus. So we can write -1 plus 2. 4 minus 2 equals 2 over -1 plus 2 equals 1. 2 over 1 equals 2. And this is the slope of the straight line passing through the points A and B. And if we need to find the slope of the straight line which passing through the points B and C, the difference between y coordinates 2 minus 0 over the difference between x coordinates -2 minus -3 minus negative, we can convert it into plus. So we can write -2 plus 3 as you see here. So 2 minus 0 equals 2 over -2 plus 3 equals 1. So it's going to be 2 over 1 and 2 over 1 equals 2. From here, we can deduce or we can note that the slope of AB equals 2 and the slope of BC equals 2. That means the 3 points lies on the same straight line because the slope of AB equals the slope of BC. Means the point or the slope, the straight line which passing through the points AB parallel to the straight line which passing through BC or coincident, or the two straight lines are coincident. That means the 3 points are collinear because B is common point between them. Question 7. If A, B, and C are collinear, find the value of A where the coordinates of the point A 0 and 1 and B A and 3 and C 2 and 5. Since the 3 points A, B, and C are collinear or on the same straight line, we can deduce that the slope of the straight line AB equal the slope of the straight line AC. The slope of the straight line AB, the coordinates of the point A 0 and 1 and the coordinates of the point B A and 3. To find the slope, we need to find the difference of y coordinates over the difference of x coordinate. So we can write 3 minus 1 over A minus 0 equals the slope of the straight line AC. AC is given. We don't have unknown here, so we can find the difference of y coordinate over the difference of x coordinate. 5 minus 1 over 2 minus 0. 5 minus 1 equals 4 and 2 minus 0 equals 2. And here 3 minus 1 equals 2, a minus 0 equals a. Here we can make cross multiplication. We can multiply 2 by 2 and then divide by 4 to find the value of the unknown a. So a equals 2 times 2 over 4. And 2 times 2 equals 4. 4 divided by 4 equals 1. And this is the value of the unknown a. A equals 1. Remark. The slope of the straight line is constant whenever the taken 2 points. So we can say that if we have straight line contains an infinite number of points, if we find the slope by using any 2 points, it's gonna be equivalent if we use another 2 points, because all of these points located on the same straight line. So the slope is constant. It doesn't change. The relation between the two slopes of two straight lines perpendicular to straight lines. If we have two straight lines, L1 and L2 are perpendicular, L1 perpendicular to L2, that means we can deduce that if we find the slope of the first straight line and the slope of the second straight line, if we get the product of them, the result is going to be -1 and it doesn't change. Again, the slope of the straight line which parallel, again, if we have two straight lines perpendicular, the slope of the first straight line multiplied by the slope of the second straight line, the result is going to be -1. The product of the two slopes is -1. Or we can say that the first slope equals -1 over the second slope. It is the same. If we say if m1 times m2 equals -1, it is equivalent if we say m1 equals -1 over m2. This is another way or another form. Example. Here we need to prove that the straight line which passes through the 2 points 4 and 3 root 3 and 5 2 root 3 is perpendicular to the straight line which makes angle or positive direction of x-axis positive angle measures 30 degrees. What should I do? All we have to do is find the slope of the first straight line whose 2 points 4 and 3 root 3 and 5 and 2 root 3. To find the slope of the straight line which passes through the 2 points, we need to find the difference of y coordinate over the difference of x coordinate. So it's going to be 3 root 3 minus 2 root 3 over 4 minus 5. 3 root 3 minus 2 root 3 equals root 3 over 4 minus 5 equals -1. So it's going to be -root 3 because root 3 over -1 equals -root 3. And if we find the slope of the second straight line which makes the angle 30 degree with the positive direction of x-axis, it's going to be tangent of this angle. M2 equals tangent of 30. And tan 30 equals 1 over root 3. If we get the product of the two straight lines, it's gonna be -1, or we can deduce that m1 equals -1 over m2 because m1 equals negative root 3. If we get the reciprocal of negative root 3 and multiply by -1, it's gonna be 1 over root 3. That means the first straight line is perpendicular to the second straight line. Another example, if the straight line which passes through the points A and B is perpendicular to the straight line which makes 130 degree with the positive direction of x-axis, and we need to find the value of the unknown y. What should I do? At the first, we need to find the slope of the straight line which passes through the points A and B. So we need to find the difference of y coordinate y minus 1 over 3 minus 2 equals y minus 1 over 1 because 3 minus 2 equals 1. And this is the first slope of the first straight line. And if we need to find the slope of the second straight line, m2 equals tangent of the angle 135, and tan 135 equals -1. Since the straight line, the first straight line perpendicular to the second straight line, that means m1 equals -1 over m2, or the product of the two slopes equals -1. So m1 equals y minus 1 over 1, or we can write y minus 1 equals -1 over m2, -1 over -1, -1 over m2 means -1 over -1 equals 1. So y minus 1 equals 1. This is equation of first degree in one variable. We can move -1 to the other side with different sign. So y is going to be 1 plus 1 equals 2, and this is the value of the unknown y. Sorry guys, the time is over. We need to end the meeting. Thanks.